Hello, stream. Hello, everyone in chat. What up, what up, what up? All right. Everybody ready? You boys ready?
Let's do it.
Yep.
Let me pull up my notes. Where the hell are my notes? Hello, what is up? Welcome to episode 334 of the Center Ring Esports podcast presented by Alt. And this is going to be the best episode ever because we have special guest Unfiltered Nerd on to give us a good E3 preview as we are 1 week away. Also, Yikes of the Week and a packed E-News to end things off with. But before we get to any of that, let me tell you about the show sponsor. Guess what? I always thought Unfiltered Nerd was an attractive man before this. I saw him, Anuj, as soon as he turns his webcam on. I don't find him attractive. I find him sexual right now. I am sexually aroused. You ask Tim, why are you sexually aroused by your guest today? It's because he is wearing none other than Alt Esports. Repping the brand, on brand. That's how you promote. When you're a guest on a show, that's how you promote. You wear the show sponsor. And you can, if your dream is ever to sexually arouse me, which it should be, everyone's dream should be to sexually arouse me, go to altesports.com, pick yourself up a shirt. Why don't you send it to us on Twitter? You could even slide in the DMs if it's one of those pictures. And you can do that. altesports.com.
My name is Justin. I got your Pistola D's, and you are listening to The Center Ring.
Okay, so let's start.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Hello and welcome. Welcome back to another edition of The Center Ring, a.k.a. TCR, a.k.a. your favorite esports podcast presented by Alt. Episode 334 coming to you live and or pre-recorded. The date is June 7th, 2021. The time, 8:54 p.m. Central Time. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring, as well. Our Discord is in the link there, and Patreon link. If you want to support the show, that's the best way to do so. Or you just listen. Clicking play is more than enough. So there's that. We also have a BDP section on our Discord. So if ever you pop off and want to flash your big dick play on our Discord, you drop the highlight there. We'll feature it on our Twitter. Doesn't matter the game. We'll highlight it for you. What a dream come true to you. My name is Tim. I'll be your captain for this journey into esports, and alongside me, as always, is my best friend, my brown friend. It's Anuj. What's up?
Follow up on my comment from the previous show. It is very evident at this point that nobody from Alt is actively listening to this show. These intros are going to get us banned, Tim.
Maybe they are listening, and that's why their sales are going through the roof. It works. It works.
I'm like waiting for the Nate text message right now. Is Tim really aroused?
I'm sorry, sir.
No,
is this not Pride Month? Is this not Pride Month? Can I not be sexually aroused? If there's 1 month a year that a straight man should be allowed to be sexually aroused by another man, it's this month.
That is
and
true.
And how dare you? As a minority,
that's
you should know better.
That's what the month is for, right, Tim?
That is, if not for anything else. But alongside both of us today, Anuj, we have a very special guest. Friend via Discord and Twitter. We've communicated through there. Once upon a time, a guest blogger for Barstool Sports. He has his own YouTube, which he can pimp out here in just a second. On Twitter, at Unfiltered Nerd. Hello, sir. How are you doing?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hey, man. Thank you for coming on the show. I know you hit me up on Twitter, said, put me in, coach. I want to talk some E3. And although we are an esports show, and we say this time every year, we are primarily esports. But before you can be an esports fan, you have to be a gaming fan. So a couple shows a year, Anuj and I like to get excited for what games are out there that we're going to get A, super excited for, and B, never actually play because we're still just going to play WoW and Valorant all the time anyways.
It's the pipe dream, though, right? Like it's the what could be coming out, and E3 is this is like Super Bowl week for gamers, right? I mean, ever since and like as both of you can attest to as well, like when you're younger, this was like the show. Now, as we've seen the past couple years, it's starting to die down a little bit in terms of the people that are attending. So big expectations for those that are there. Definitely pumped for the upcoming, couple weeks, in fact, months that we have ahead of gaming news coming out.
So, Unfiltered Nerd, like I said, I kind of know you from Discord and Twitter and everything. Before our listeners, like I said, I know you occasionally blog. I know you do your YouTube. I guess give us a taste of your background here.
Sure. So I've always been a gamer, but I really have, like, my dad, my first like memory of like hanging out with my dad was he brought back an NES one time from a work trip, and we played like Duck Hunt till I fell asleep. So I've like always loved gaming. That's like, it's like ingrained in me. I've always loved E3. I've been watching E3 since like, I don't know, 08, 09. Every year on G4, I used to like set alarms. Like, I was that kid that like set alarms to make sure I was up at 10 o'clock for the road to E3
So
that
just
day.
saying G4, you have dated yourself, but how old are you?
28.
Okay. So we're all in the same ballpark. I'm 30.
Yeah.
Anuj is like 43, 45.
Earning 45.
Yeah.
He's in his 30s. So we're all in that same, I would say, age demo.
Yeah.
As of right now, we'll say mid to lower 30s. That
So,
might change soon.
But I would also say, like, so I've been like extremely closely following games media as like a kind of a desire to like turn it into a hobby that I could actually like do well, and then eventually like maybe even move my career slightly in that way, because I went to school for engineering, so like I have like a day job like everyone else. But yeah, I got to guest blog for Barstool for a little while last year. That was awesome. Worked with them a little bit and learned some production stuff, and now I'm kind of going in on YouTube. My first video went up on Friday. It's called The Truth About Boss Battles. It's just me ranting. I have a blog too that I've had for 2 years that I have not updated in a long time, but I used to blog like just my random thoughts and frustrations or things, like I was in a group chat, like a Discord call. And I kind of learned over COVID, not a lot of people want to read something, but they all kind of like watching like a 5-minute video. So I was like, I'm just going to take my writing knowledge from the blog, turn it into a script, and just talk about the games industry and boss fights. And I'm sure I'll throw up me sucking at Valorant at some point, because that's where I came from right before I came here. So yeah.
Well, you can post your BDPs in the Discord too.
There are
So
very few.
when they happen,
So-
you
It
let us
does
know.
not rank discrimination. You could be bronze, gold, diamond, whatever ranks are in Valorant. Valorant, highest one, right? Doesn't matter. A BDP can happen at any rank. What rank are you?
Was that a test? Was that a test that Valorant's ranks are now Immortal and not Valorant?
No, I really listen. I don't ever have to worry about what rank is at the top. Okay, all I need to know is gold, and that's pretty much it for Valorant.
Yeah. I'm Silver 2. I got like one game from Silver 3 and then just nosedive. And then I won a lot on Saturday, and then I nosedived the last 2 days. So I'm like back in Silver 2 or 1 or something, and I'm sure I'll get to gold next season. But that's like the game that I'm grinding right now, because I've been listening to you guys. I won a lot of money on Valorant betting, so like that was big. Yeah, I love Valorant. It's like my go-to esport right now.
Is it your go-to game in general right now?
I would say, yeah. In terms of multiplayer, if I'm grinding something like that, it's Valorant.
Nice. We'll have to get together. At some point. We're all around the same place, so don't worry.
Oh, good.
You're welcome
Yeah.
on this show.
And
Well,
we
there's
just
a reason that I have a name called Unfiltered Nerd, just so you're aware.
You'll fit right in. You'll fit
right in.
in. No, we haven't had. Look, we're old. We have kids. We're one of those gamers that went wrong at some point and got married and had kids. So learn from our mistakes. There is no. You have like an hour to play. That's like us grinding. Like, dude, I played 2 matches today, and it's like, damn.
That was a big day.
Putting in
That
the
was a
work.
big day.
I usually play from about 6 o'clock to midnight and then on the weekends I play about 13 hours.
That's the dream.
Not trolling. That's like complete.
No, trust. Before we were married, that was us.
We've been there.
Like, we were almost global elites in Counter-Strike. Trust us. We know the feeling. We know the feeling. We've been there.
But we also know our place now.
That is the truth.
Where I am early. I retired early.
It hits you hard. It hits you hard. Anyways, so let's get to E3 because it is the 12th is the first day. So what is that? Next weekend, right?
Actually,
Saturday.
it's this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend, I guess. Oh yeah, it is
and it
Monday.
really E3 officially like kicks off on the 12th, but it's really actually I think it kicks off. I don't know if there's Friday shows. It really kicks off on Thursday with the Summer Games Fest, which Jeff Keighley, it's not officially a part of E3, but he's got enough of a reputation that he's basically throwing his own like conference, but none of the big names are gonna like really drop their stuff there. They're gonna wait for their own. So
yeah, and that'll be like kind of just the precursor to it, and we should see some stuff going down at Summer's Games Fest. So anything we talk about in this next segment here will be kind of combination of the two. If you expect it to happen Thursday, Friday, great, but we really have about a week of gaming info really about to slam us here starting Thursday, which should be exciting.
So I've complained about it on the show in previous episodes. I've complained about it on Twitter. I've complained about it to my wife, who doesn't care. Anyone who will listen, I'm bitching and moaning that the industry has killed E3 a little bit for me. I'm not as hyped as I used to be. It used to be like my Christmas morning because like you were saying in pre-show chat, I am so anti-spoiler guy. Like, I watch one movie trailer, and if I'm interested, I'm done. I don't watch, and even if it's like for a big movie like Star Wars, I won't watch any trailers. I know I'm going to see it. I don't want to see any of it. Same thing with games. Don't want to see any of it. I don't want to hear news. I want to, unwrap those presents Christmas morning and be surprised. I don't want any hints from my parents or Santa Claus kids on what might be in those gifts. And yet the gaming industry refuses to let any of us have fun with E3 anymore.
Well, yeah, I mean, we talk about Battlefield, a game that we're all looking forward to. They're dropping their info on Wednesday, and it's
Days
like
before.
You could have waited like 24 hours to kind of at least pretend to include it in every. I mean, really, so I would say Wednesday is kind of the kickoff for gaming news, right? A lot of people are looking forward to the info that they're going to give, but yeah, I mean, the industry as a whole has kind of diminished E3 just because they're hosting their own events, right? So they want to release their info at their own events and they don't feel the need to do it here, which again, I hate that. Maybe, I'm sure there's a lot of reasons that it's good for them, but for us as the viewer, the spectator, the fan, the gamer, that it has taken a hit over the past few years.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of that initially started with Nintendo not making the trip anymore. As soon as Nintendo started doing the Nintendo Direct, like I think everyone started realizing, oh, we can still get the same amount of sales and everything if we don't go spend all that money to put on that show.
Yeah.
So I agree. I actually wrote it in my blog last year for Barstool about like it does kind of ruin it. And I was afraid we weren't going to have another E3. I thought it was just going to be state of play, Nintendo Direct, Xbox Showcase, like all over the place. And we were just going to have it all spread out. But I still try to keep my presents wrapped a little bit. Like I haven't watched the Far Cry 6 gameplay trailer that dropped last week or the week before. And I'm going to wait to watch that. This weekend to me is like, for political people, this is like the election. So like, you know how like Hassan streams like 23 hours every day during the whole like the ballot counting? That's going to be me all week. Literally just like, oh, there's a trailer. Let's watch this. Oh, here's that. And literally just going through every single thing, all the small showcases, Devolver Digital's weird like gore fest of whatever, but I don't think they're going to be there. Yeah, I still try to contain it as much as possible, so it is still like a Christmas morning.
I'm the complete opposite. I want all the information. I want all the videos. I want to know the only thing I don't want is like actual true spoilers, right? Like if it's an RPG, no, I don't want to look up like the last boss fight. I'm not trying to go that deep into it. But when it comes to information, I think this is why I'm going to take the information I get from E3. I'm going to find the games that I'm excited about. And then I'm going to start YouTubing every video I can on more information about those games. So I'm kind of the opposite when it comes to like, just feed me. I want more. Once it starts coming out, I want more.
I didn't say it was easy. I just said that's what I tried.
So I guess for the sake of the conversation, let's get out of the way then that won't generate as much conversations. Because like you said, it's just the way of life. There are certain developers, studios, whatnot, that just aren't as heavy on E3 anymore, or maybe it's just an off year. Did they even do an E3 last year?
No.
At all.
No.
So
Not digital. No, Summer Games Festival is like the big one for all the AA and below developers, and everyone else just stuck with their studios.
And I wonder how much the Rona is still going to affect the news this year, right? Because it's not like there's been a whole lot of developing going on. Like a lot of studios were shut down, being in California, and I guess Nintendo probably works their peoples to the bone anyways, from what I hear. So maybe they're still good, but other places out there, who knows? Who knows where we're at with game development this year? Maybe we just get more news and splash screens, but what are some of the things that we can kind of quickly count out?
Half-Life 3.
Half-Life 3 out.
BioShock 4. Yeah. I think that don't expect an Assassin's Creed. It already came out last year, and they do one every 2 years. And last year they teased it in like May. So I think they're going to save the theme for that. I would not expect anything from God of War. Well, I wouldn't expect PlayStation. I think PlayStation's not going to be till like
They're not going to
August.
do
They're gonna wait.
anything during this time. So any
No.
PS exclusive, you're not going to get info on. I don't think at all over here.
No. I wouldn't expect anything more on Splatoon 3 if you're a Nintendo person, because that has just been announced. Also, from Nintendo, I would not expect Metroid Prime 4. They like completely restarted development.
That's what I was going to ask.
December or October. So that game is like very far out. It's in developmental hell, but I'm still like confident they're going to be good. I think that them deciding they're going to remake it and they had a new vision, I'm more excited for that, because Metroid is like, I don't think you can really mess it up that much. Yeah, those are the for sure that I have off the top. I also would not expect GTA 6. I know everyone's saying GTA 6.
I was gonna say the same thing. I have two heartbreakers that I'm gonna throw out there. I don't think we get a GTA 6. As bad as I want to see it, that community is still thriving. And I don't think they see the need, even if they have, I'm sure they have it in development, right? Like it's going on and they have some of the game built. There's just not like the need for it right now, because the streaming popularity for GTA has picked up so much in the past like 6 months to a year, with these RP servers and XQC and Summit and all these guys constantly, playing these games. I'm sure they've seen a resurgence of player base going on with GTA. And so as much as I would love to see it, and it's time, it really is time, I don't think we get that. I also don't think we're going to get like a Skate 4 announcement. It's been 10 plus years, 11 years now since we've had Skate 3, and I'm not part of that community, but I know that community is dying for a game. We know they're working on a game, but for some reason I just don't see it like being this year. So those would be the two like heartbreakers I would throw out there for people.
I would see, I can't even tell you if there's a heartbreaker for me, because again, like Metroid, I would have been excited for Metroid just because all we ever saw for it was literally like a splash screen at the end of a direct at one point in time that was just like, oh, and by the way, Metroid, and that's it. And then the next news we got for it was like, we're gonna start over. So I would have been excited for something there. I know a couple of my buddies were saying Breath of the Wild 2, because they teased it, I think 2 years ago now is when we got a teaser for Breath of the Wild 2. But again, I don't know if I'm really that excited for that stuff. Like, it's a single player game. I'll probably play it in like 3 years.
Maybe not a heartbreaker for you, but that would break a lot of hearts in general.
Course.
Right?
Of course. I will say Nintendo has to show out. They had a very weak direct earlier this year. I did not think we were going to get another one. We have not seen Donkey Kong in like 6 or 7 years. The last Mario Kart was 2014, and then they ported it. It's the best-selling game on Switch, so Same thing with your GTA. They could decide they're not going to do anything with that.
See, and I'm
I
actually
think you'll
okay
get
with
an
that
expansion or
because
something
I
for
still
Mario
really
Kart.
enjoy Mario Kart 8. Like
Yeah.
I play now. I
But
don't
that's
play
like
it.
a Wii U port, also essentially, right? Like
Oh, it
it's
is.
not.
They've
Yeah.
added a
It's
few
not
things,
like anything
but
different.
it's still. I guess I don't play it like religiously, so I'm not like sick of it. But it holds up, right? Like it's a
Yeah.
good game that holds up. I would like to see like an N64 version of Donkey Kong, right? Like an actual adventure game for Donkey Kong again. I would like to see that for
I
Nintendo.
would like to see GoldenEye be like
Yeah.
a thing. That would be
Don't.
cool. Like, why not remake GoldenEye in some form or fashion?
I'll tell you
They
what
did it
Nintendo.
once for GameCube, and it was absolutely horrible. They tried to make it Call of Duty. It was horrible.
But that's a good learning experience. That's why it's time. It's time to try again.
IO Interactive or whoever's making the Hitman games, they got James Bond right now. They got that franchise. We won't hear anything from it this year, but they're making the next James Bond game, and I don't think they do GoldenEye. I think Nintendo has to drop Breath of the Wild 2 or Mario Kart 8 or Mario Kart 9 this holiday season because they don't have their big holiday game yet. And I think Mario they would tease and then announce like for next year at E3, but like they have Pokemon Remastered as they're coming to Switch. It's like Diamond and Pearl,
Right.
but that's not a holiday. They did that with like Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu, and it didn't sell like near as much because they had another game come out too.
Yeah. Well,
Another game.
they sabotage themselves with those, but
Yeah.
and
So
then you have
I think they have to do one of those two.
You have Arceus or
one of
whatever,
those two-
Arceus, the open world Pokemon game. That could be big.
That's January.
January.
That's coming
Okay.
January.
Yeah.
And then you have Bayonetta 3. There's already rumors that Bayonetta 3 is going to be there, but I think that's more of like an opener or like a mid show thing. Like that's not your big boom Bayonetta 3 is coming. It's you got to go boom Mario Kart, boom a huge Donkey Kong like 64 style game or Breath of the Wild 2. And the only one we actually know is coming is Breath of the Wild 2. So that's my expectation, but I haven't set high because their last press conference was very disappointing to me.
There's also the guaranteed Nintendo crutch of a Smash reveal of like a new character. They do it literally every time they drop
They just tease a
new Fire Emblem character. Let's go.
Right.
They just teased a new character also, didn't they? Like I just saw something come out where they teased one just a couple, like maybe a week ago.
Yeah, they're definitely going to talk about it during their press conference. But that again, that's not a climax. And if they don't have a climax at the end, then what's the point of the entire 40 minutes?
That's not for bringing new people in. Like the goal is always like, how do we get like the next group of or wave of people to come in and play or buy something? Smash. Trust me, anybody that plays Smash already has the game. Like they're not going to be like, oh, look, this character's coming out. Let me get Smash now. You know, like that's just not how that works.
I've heard of this game called Super Smash Brothers. Let me give it a go.
Yeah, let's give this a whirl and see how this is. I want to talk about some of the stuff that we know is coming out, like guarantees that we are going to see, and you know, maybe starting off with, if we're going to keep it non-esports focused for a moment, I think like Bethesda has a real big opportunity here to have a huge showcase. Like they could potentially coming out, and that's now tied into Microsoft and all them, so they're all like one now. But I think Bethesda could definitely come out looking like the winner, depending on what they show of their new IP, Starfield. Like we don't know anything about it yet, other than it is like their new RPG, and there could be some sort of survival aspect to the game that could be there just based on some screenshots and all that have come out. But yeah, I think Bethesda is lined up for a really big showcase and an exciting one.
I think so. Bethesda, I kind of picture it in a couple sectors. So one, I don't, because now they're part of Xbox, I don't think they're going to show the PS exclusives that are starting for like a year. So I don't think Ghostwire Tokyo or Deathloop, thank God we've seen enough of those trailers. I don't think either of those two games are going to be shown, which leaves a pretty big room for like Bethesda. So I think you're going to see Fallout 76 DLC. I think you're going to see some mobile game stuff that no one cares about, like Fallout Shelter. And then I think that they're going to end with Starfield, which is supposed to be like an RPG exploration, a lot less combat focused from what I hear, and a lot more kind of like No Man's Sky, but very high def and like not broken off the start. That's what is supposed to happen.
Time out. Tim, I want you to get really excited about what he just said right there, okay? Because on your new PC, on your ultra wide, that is a must play, regardless if you enjoy RPGs or don't. That's
Or
going to look
space.
gorgeous on our computers. I
There
feel.
is not a chance in hell that game releases smoothly. Not a chance in hell.
Yeah, Bethesda's track record's not great with smooth releases, but I think it is going to be a good game. I'm interested to see it. I don't know how much it's going to be my style, but we'll see. The other things, Wolfenstein 3 has been rumored to be showing up. That's a big drop. I think another big thing that they could do is they could talk about just the Elder Scrolls 6 location, because from what I hear, they're
Yeah.
just they're still figuring out how they're going to make cities and stuff, and that's kind of a big part of the game. So I don't think you're going to get like a date or anything, but they could like tell you where it's going to be, which will keep everyone happy for a year. I don't think anything
They should
Fallout
get some
is gonna
information
come.
around Elder Scrolls 6 at this point. Like there should be some information coming our way
Yeah.
there, I would assume.
But I would think their biggest thing is going to be the other thing that makes me think Wolfenstein's going to be at this showcase, Wolfenstein 3, is that team is the team that's going to work on Indiana Jones, and they just teased that. So they got to finish Wolfenstein 3 so they can get the team on Indiana Jones in the next like 2 or 3 years. So if it's not this year, it's next year. Wolfenstein 3 is either coming this year and going to be announced this year, or it's going to be teased this year, announced for next year. That's Bethesda's piece, I think, to Xbox's showcase. And then I bet you a bunch of their games are all going to Game Pass.
I think Square Enix is also lined up for a decent showing. They should have a Final Fantasy 14 for you MMO guys out there. There should be like a 14 expansion announced. We should get 16 hopefully announced, and then you get part 2 of Final Fantasy 7, which for a lot of enthusiasts, like that's massive, right? That's going to be great. So they should also have a pretty decent conference depending on what they show. But I think their lineup for the Final Fantasy fans is going to be great.
Yeah, they got. Let me check my notes on what I have there. I did have something interesting. A lot of their stuff is going to be like Marvel, Avengers DLC, and JRPGs. But the team that made the new Tomb Raider and Deus Ex is working on a new EP and IP, and that's already been announced that they're gonna tell you what it is. So I don't know what it's going to be. It could be another Deus Ex game, or it could be something completely new. But that's going to be announced at there, so that they could have an okay conference. I'm not a big Square Enix fan because like 90% of what they make is JRPGs, and they get very old to me.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think
I'm
Final
not-
Fantasy is what keeps them afloat.
We actually even
that
talk
is-
to Anuj and I talk all the time where the JRPG style just doesn't appeal to me like it once was. When I was younger, for whatever reason, I loved it, and then as I got older, got away from it. I don't know what it is, but
The MMO scene has just left a bad taste in my mouth for games that they tend to make. They just never seem to pan out in the West. So I am excited to say you're gonna like this. Weezer is opening for Games Fest. Summer
Okay,
Games Fest,
I'm
so I
already
think
in. Like,
I feel like that's pretty cool.
this is
They're
already
gonna
a
be
success. I
opening
turned around now. E3 is going to be the best.
But I bring that up to kind of just talk about the entertainment aspect of it, because Netflix also has like a Geek Week kind of thing going on. I think that's what they're calling it, or something like Geeked Weekend or something like that. But they're going to announce all their like upcoming shows and content that they have around gaming. So if you enjoy these games and you enjoy things like The Witcher and I don't know what else. I mean, I don't even know what to anticipate from there. But I'm excited to see that segment because I have enjoyed a lot of these shows that have turned in, or a lot of these games that have turned into shows. I think they've been pretty well done. They don't feel cheap or bad production quality. Like Netflix has done a good job of taking care of them. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited for what shows I get to watch because I can do as much of that as gaming nowadays. So excited on that end also.
I think if I can make a bold prediction of Netflix, because they're obviously getting 2 feet in with gaming entertainment, right? They have all the gaming shows, and like Anuj said, they were all good. I finished Castlevania season 4, by the way. Excellent. I don't know if you guys watched that. Awesome show. I think it's the end of it, so there might be a spinoff, but who knows? I digress. They've also, said in the article a couple weeks ago that they're interested in having games on Netflix, or at least a branch off of it somehow to do streaming. My bold prediction, And I don't know if it's going to be this year because it seems too quick from when they kind of teased this or said they were interested. But my bold prediction is that at some point Netflix is going to dip their toes into streaming, like Twitch style gaming streamers on Netflix. Like they're going to have their own gaming section with games. You can go see all the gaming shows and everything that because they're putting in a ton of money into it. This isn't just to get subscribers. Like they are making a shift over to gaming. They see the power in it. And I think Netflix has a decent like stack of, like, hey, you already go there literally there's not one day of my life I don't open up Netflix, right? Think about that. Not one day do I go without opening up Netflix. I could see them making like a streaming platform of some sort.
That is the first time I've ever heard that, and it makes complete sense.
Yeah, it really does.
I'll take credit.
If they're not planning on doing that, hopefully somebody important is listening, because that is actually a really good idea. I mean, they have the infrastructure to do that. They have, I mean, the apps are probably some of the best and easiest to use apps that are out there when it comes to media and content consumption, right? If you've used Amazon Prime, for example, you know how crappy like a UI and interface that is. If you don't think that, I can't ever trust you anymore. So, I mean, that would be awesome to see. And they could attract maybe not big names right off the bat, but they have the pull and the money to make some people make the switch, right? If Mixer can get Shroud and Ninja, Netflix can pull a name or two themselves. So I think that'd be a really cool thing for them to do.
It all comes down to the interface and the way that people can communicate. If you don't have the emotes, if you don't have the interface, if it's hard to find people, if it's hard to be discoverable, I mean, that's what Twitch has been king of for like 3 years at least.
I mean, YouTube still hasn't figured that out.
And they have been on the streaming game for way too long to not know. Yeah. I don't know how the hell they're not up there. Like, it is a monopoly.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
So, like I said, I don't know if it's going to be this year, but the fact that Netflix is even at E3 tells me, again, they're there not necessarily to make an announcement, but to scout it out. They're there to let people know, hey, gaming and Netflix are 1-in-1 now. Netflix isn't just films. We're one of you guys. We're gamers now. So they're planting the seed for us not to be surprised when they make that shift.
Yeah, it won't come out of the blue at least.
And they're not owned. Is Netflix owned by like anyone? They're not like.
No, I think they're independent.
Netflix is like.
They're still they've never been bought out by any big brand or anything. So, yeah, I mean, it could be huge, right? You don't have like YouTube is Google, Twitch is Amazon, right? You have these other big brands behind it. So I could see another one kind of swinging in here to try to find ground on it. And Netflix, I think, is perfect. But that's just my bold prediction for somewhere in the future.
Now, what I want to do, Tim, is I want to bring this back to the core of our conversation, and that's esports. Okay, guys, we do have some stuff to look forward to, and I would say pretty big. And maybe we just start with the big bang, and that's Halo. What are your expectations, both of you guys? Like, what are your expectations for Halo in this conference?
Well, first off, Halo's my baby. #1 game in the world. If I could give away one of my children, I have 2 of them. I can spare one. I would do it. So Halo would be #1 again.
Top 100 game right now, I would say. Currently.
Top 100, sure. My expectations is they're if they're not, they better find something in the next 5 days to figure out how the hell they're going to announce a BR version. Like, if that's not already being planned to announce a BR, then I think Halo has already failed in the eyes of a lot of people. But also, if I were them, replay the exact gameplay feature that you had last time that everyone laughed at. Just replay it with your up-to-date graphics so people can actually have a one-for-one comparison on what you've been doing and why we've had a delay. Not often do we see a game that's been, I mean, for the most part, since like October, right? It was supposed to be a launch title for the latest Xbox and delayed. Not often has a delayed game continued to be the most anticipated game of your docket at E3.
Yeah, I mean, announcing a BR could be part of it. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if we didn't hear them talk about that. I think this needs to be about the core of the game. And I think it's too risky to do what you said also with the side by side comparison, because if it does not, like, people's stream quality is low, like something is like not right, it's really risky for them. Now they do need to show a lot of gameplay. Like this can't be a bunch of cinematics. Like you're past that, you're close to a launch date. The game should be in final stages of testing right now. Like this shouldn't be something where, oh, it's still in development so we can't show you. No, like that's all BS if that's how this goes down. I'm expecting a ton of content from them though. Like they should have such a long segment that you're like honestly ready to see the next game at this point, because they've really done themselves no favors here. They had a bad release for a game that was in development for 6 years initially, right? Like it's been so long, and for them to be unprepared and now delay like a year and X number of months, no excuse not to get a ton of content out of them. A lot of gameplay showing the open world concept, maybe even understanding like how monetization is going to work in the free to play multiplayer that they're going to be giving out. We should see some multiplayer combat, see some maps. Like you should really come out of there being like, wow, I learned a lot about Halo today. And if I don't feel that way, I promise you I'm going to bitch about this at the end of E3, because that's where most of my hype is on what is Halo bringing to the table.
Yeah, I will say that I hate Halo. And the reason I hate,
Whoa.
I know I just saw you go up. This is the reason I
Whoa.
hate Halo. I have it. It's twofold. Number one is because I wanted a PlayStation 4. I wanted a PlayStation 4 so bad. I knew that the PlayStation 4 was going to be better than the Xbox One before it came out. I knew that it was going to be better than it through its entire fucking life. I knew that the PlayStation 4 was going to be the better console when it was launching. And my friend said, nope, Halo. So I bought a PlayStation 4. I traded it in after a month for half the price, and I got an Xbox One because all my friends wanted to play Halo. And what did they do? This is the second part. They bitched about how it's not Halo 2 and it's not Halo 3 and it's never been good since this. And every time we died, it was like, this is all I hear is I used to beat Ninja and I used to be this good, and that's all and I'm like, I want to be playing The Last of Us.
So
Like-
that's first mistake there is because I actually never had an Xbox One. So I never played Halo 5 because I was like, no, I thought the same thing. I was like, I'm going PlayStation. They have more exclusives. Even though I won't have Halo, my friends were trying to convince me to go Xbox. I was like, no. And they did the same exact thing. There has not been one single Halo player that had, like, everyone, your friends that you just described is every single Halo player ever. All of them complain.
And that is
it's not
really
Halo
what you
2.
hear out of the Halo community, right? Kind of similar to the Call of Duty community. I wouldn't say there's much difference there. So this is not singling out Halo fans versus Call of Duty fans,
No.
for example. But like
No.
both of them are in the same boat. Talk about old games only, right? I've played these old games, but like not like I play games over the last 10, 15 years, right? Like some of these games are so dated, I just played them casually, you know? And so yeah, this is why this has to have mass appeal. Like this is why they have to they're rebranding and reselling Halo. It doesn't need to be like Halo 2 and 3. It just needs to be a really good game. And like a game like Destiny comes to mind of, maybe Destiny doesn't do a lot of things right, but what they do give you is amazing gameplay, right? And I know the studios aren't the same studio anymore, but they can also take a lot out of that because Bungie was the original creator, and you see this game that's beautiful to play. I hope we feel that way about Halo. It shouldn't just be just a good shooter. Like it needs to be a good game. And so the open world stuff is really important. The replayability is going to be really important. If it's just a multiplayer game, it'll be popular, but it would still be a bust overall, because you're eventually going to have the same people that are bitching about Halo 5 will be bitching in multiplayer. That's just the nature of multiplayer, though. So I'm looking forward to a good game, not just, and that includes BR, multiplayer, single player. Like I think all aspects, or co-op, all need to like kind of be intertwined and really hit it out of the park.
I will say why one worry about a BR off the bat is, and I know that the multiplayer is going to be free, but the multiplayer esport is more entertaining to me. We haven't seen a Halo BR esport, but I don't want this Call of Duty kill race stuff in Halo. Like if Halo BR is going to be esport, it needs to be able to be structured like Fortnite, where you have everybody on the same map at the same time. Like there's got to be a way so that there's not this like stomping on people, VPNs, all this stuff. There's going to be cheating because it's on PC now, but let's hope that at least like some of the other things that like feel like very low hanging fruit can make it at least good. And I really hope that the BR is a little bit later. I hope they announce it, but I kind of hope it's a little bit later because I want that multiplayer to have them to have actually put an effort into it instead of like 6 maps.
The BR is just so massive already.
And then they only put it in. And as a COD fan and someone that plays COD like Modern Warfare and Black Ops Cold War for only the multiplayer and not Warzone, like I felt that they have not put the time into the multiplayer that they should have because they're focusing so much on the battle royale. So I hope that Halo, like you said, is all around story. I like the open world stuff. I think that's unique and I think it can be done very well. I hope the multiplayer is kind of a little bit more of a return to form, and then I hope that the battle royale is doesn't take all the light and is made well.
Yeah, the BR I separate from the esport. I don't care to see Halo BR be an esport. I just want it to be a fun game mode, right? So when I'm talking about the esport side of it, it's purely the MP side. That's all I care about because that's all that'll really be popular. I mean, Halo's established enough, right? They're like, although not big right now, established enough to where the multiplayer is what would be the esport. Similar to Call of Duty, you would see Halo tournaments like Twitch rival tournaments or these streamer hosted tournaments, but I don't think that'll ever really be an esport. It'll just be a good fun game.
The only reason I care about Halo BR is because it's what the kids want nowadays. I will probably play it once or twice, remind myself, oh, that's right, BR sucks, and never play it again. I just want it there because, like you said, that's what attracts Twitch. Twitch attracts the players and the kids, and then it just boosts everything up.
If you have a BR, you can guarantee the player base and the BR will be healthy for a long time because people are also looking for a reason to move off of Call of Duty, right? Like there's no anti-cheat system, so people have been looking to move off for a long time, I feel. Battlefield and Halo both have that opportunity to grab that player base. Tim, the other game, and I'm gonna kind of move us off of Halo.
Well, hold on, let me ask Nerd one thing here, because he said he hated Halo. That's while it was on Xbox. Going to PC though, interests you?
I'm gonna play it on PC. I have Game Pass.
Okay.
I'm not my next gen console is gonna be a PS5 whenever I can get a hold of one, but I can play everything on my PC now that they're doing that. So my Xbox is kind of my PC, and then I have my Switch and I have my PS5, and then that covers all the bases until Nintendo comes out with their new Boomerang. That's going to be a gaming console.
The Xbox, that's the beauty of the Xbox, right? Is your PC is now your Xbox. I mean, for all of us, that's at least what it's turned into. So, kind of got me out of the console game because of that, honestly. But I was a PlayStation guy my whole life, so I don't see myself buying another console anytime soon, honestly. Like, I just feel like I will only miss out on the PS4 exclusives, which are a big deal, but I don't play a ton of single player anymore. So, yeah, I mean, for me, it's
you just out of time.
Yeah, but that's the nice part of the PC is it's become a badass Xbox, right? Like you're gonna get all the titles with Game Pass. I have Game Pass also, and it's great. So, Halo is just gonna be in everybody's hands when it comes out. It needs to last, I guess, is the purpose there. Tim, I know you had this game written in the notes, and I saw I'll be honest with you, I didn't get a chance to look up anything around this game, and honestly, I saw the same stuff that you kind of have written here. What do you know about either of y'all, Ubisoft's new title, the new Tom Clancy title that they're talking about?
I'll let Nerd take it. The only thing I saw was pretty much the headline where it mentioned that Ubisoft is reportedly working on a new PvP Tom Clancy game. And with the very vague, like this, you want to talk about a wide net? Elements of Splinter Cell, Ghost Recon, and The Division. that doesn't help narrow it down at all on what the game's going to be like, because all three of those have such a wide array of how you can play those games.
Is that not the quarantine? Is this like different games that we're talking about here, or are they the
There's
same
two
game?
different games. Two different games.
Okay, so this is
So-
like a separate IP
This
with
is-
Tom Clancy altogether.
Correct.
Yeah, no, yeah. Well, it's Tom Clancy, but it's so okay. Let me break it down. So you've got Rainbow Six. They teased this. It was called Rainbow Six Quarantine at the time. I think they changed the name due to the pandemic. It's now called Rainbow Six Extraction. It's a co-op shooter in the Rainbow Six universe where you're apparently working with your team, like Left 4 Dead, to progress through levels to try to escape or bail at a certain point when you think you've had too much. So it's kind of like zombies, not like the Call of Duty zombies mixed in with like Rainbow Six like mechanics and stuff. I don't really think it's going to be an esport, and I honestly don't think it would have been successful even if it was like another Rainbow Six Siege type game, because I think the same thing about Overwatch 2, where though that fan base is never going to be happy if you release a new game, it's just not going to be good. Like
I mean,
they
it's just
want
another Rainbow Six, like another title in the Rainbow Six line. No
is.
attachment to Siege or anything like that. It'll be its own co-op game, and
yes.
I can kind of dig that though. I mean, esport or not, like a good co-op game.
I mean, if people remember,
know.
they kind of teased this a couple years ago. They did like a special Left 4 Dead game mode in Siege like a couple years ago.
Yes. And I think that's what it's going to become, but they're like aliens and it's going to be a lot more advanced. And I think it's going to be fun. I don't know what the player base is for it, because I think Rainbow Six fans are just used to hearing Rainbow Six and thinking esports like you just did. But I think it's going to be interesting. I'm interested to see what it is. The other game you're talking about was just announced today, and it doesn't have a title. It's just they're rumored to be working on, like you said, a PvP with elements from all those games, which to me, I said, okay, elements of Splinter Cell, so it's going to be kind of like stealthy. Ghost Recon means it's going to be kind of like tactical, like there's going to be a lot to the multiplayer. And then it being like, what was the other game?
The
you mentioned?
The
Division.
Division, so it'll just have some
Division,
really
I
shitty
was like-
mechanics.
It'll be like third person. It'll be like Rogue Company, but with all those characters. Like that's what I kind of envisioned when I saw it. But we don't really know what it is, and I don't know how they're going to tease it. They may just show like a trailer. There was a mobile game that came out a while ago that had all that together, so hopefully it's not a mobile game they're talking about. But
Oh,
Yeah,
that would
that
be
would be
brutal.
interesting.
That would
Yeah.
be brutal. This does have me excited though, because Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow, I think that was the name of that one, had some of the best PvP back in the day, like complete original style. You had spies versus mercs, unlike any other game you played at the time. Man, I'm just gonna say this. I sound so nasally to myself right now.
You sound nasally.
Like
right now.
I
You hear it, too.
sound disgusting. So I want to apologize to. I can't even help it. It's this big Polish nose. It's just ridiculous. No, so I am super excited. Like that at least piqued my interest. I don't think they're gonna show, like you were saying, nerd. I don't think they're gonna show much of anything. Like I think they might do a splash screen to show you the title, right? But that is such a wide net to be like, hey, Ubisoft, what are you working on? Something Splinter Cell, something Ghost Recon, a little bit of Division. Oh, you mean so like all of your Tom Clancy games? Like what? That
You're
doesn't
working on a Tom Clancy game.
right? Yeah, like okay, that doesn't help me at all to figure out what this is going to be like. But the Splinter Cell part has gotten me excited. Just on the topic of Ubisoft, I do think that they kind of need to show something big, though. Like you said, they're not going to have Assassin's Creed. I think a new original Rayman would be interesting to some people, some original fans of the series. Plus, Ubisoft has just done that same bit for so long. Like they've been so heavy on Tom Clancy, so heavy on Assassin's Creed. They kind of have to get back to, I think, to their roots with Rayman. So I would be excited for that. I've always been a Rayman fan.
I think they blew their load a little early with the Far Cry 6 stuff coming out early, them intentionally putting it out early, because I think that's like my most anticipated game from them is that, just because of the guy from Breaking Bad. I'm very excited to see that. They're going to talk about Riders Republic, which is this like BMX snowboarding skiing game that They have
will
never been
die
good
a
at
few months
making.
in. Yeah, like that's
Yeah, they've never been good at making a mechanically sound game, so I don't know how they think that they're going to make the fluidity of that. There's this Roller Champions game they've been talking about for forever. That's still not out, and I think that'll be talked about. But yeah, there was a call in February. This is how much of a nerd I am about this shit. There was a call in February to earners, and they told them we're going to start veering a little bit away from AAA's and go more into the freemium and mobile game market. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, either you guys are firing employees because of all the controversy you guys have going on, or you guys are giving up on making good AAA games. So you're slowing down the process, or you're eliminating stuff and you're going to start selling IPs. I think Ubisoft's going to be bankrupt or acquired in the next 3
I mean,
years.
Ubisoft has done traditionally a very poor job, right? So it's not
Yeah.
like none of that stuff is really shocking, right? Like you never look at Ubisoft and you're like, "Damn, can't wait for the next title from them." Like even the Division, that was probably the most hyped up game they've had over the past 5 years, right? With Division 1 and Division 2 have been like they were
Yeah.
supposed to be a massive launch, and both of those games are plagued with issues, right? At the like there's some nice parts to those games, some nice elements, whether that be visually or whatever, but they never lived up to the actual hype behind it. And so I
Hyperscape
would not.
died after 2 days.
Yeah, I mean there's just
Like,
hundreds of examples you can give with Ubi. Honestly, there's really not a lot of positive that's come out of their camp for quite some time. Some big name games, but I wouldn't say that they generally sit in the most positive light amongst their player base. So
I would hate to see a company go under and have to sell. But if that means we have to have one less launcher on our PCs, I might sign off on that. I might
Yeah.
sign off on it if I can have
EA
one
has the
less
worst.
launcher.
EA has Origin, and then if you have Game Pass, you have EA Desktop. And Origin opens when you start your computer, unless you're like me and you figure out how to turn it off. And then EA Desktop pops up, and they try to log you into all of it, and it's a mess. Sucks.
So let's talk EA then, because this is what we'll end our E3 before we can wrap things up. Because I think that's kind of the next big one, at least for us on the esports scale of things, because they are announcing, or I guess they've already announced it, but they're going to show more here actually in a couple days. They're doing the dumb thing where it's like, hey guys, we know it's the 12th, but what if we did our big reveal on the 9th? So they're obviously showing off Battlefield 6, which is, I think, for us, I know that's like one of the top 3 games that I'm looking forward to. And then a handful, I'm sure they're traditional, here's Madden, here's FIFA. Maybe it's on the next gen console graphics and all that, but
that's pretty much going to be EA's conference. I'll admit that they've done a better job this year than I thought they would. Like, It Takes Two is so much fun. If you guys haven't played that together or with your wives, that is a amazing game, great game, and it's co-op only, so you have to play with them, and it's a lot of fun. And that Knockout City, like I thought that was going to be horrible, and I've been playing it a lot and having a lot of fun.
that's
So
the dodgeball game, right?
yeah,
I've been
and
watching some of it on
that has the
stream.
potential to be like a low small esport because that
Like,
actually has a lot of
Splatoon-
skills to it.
Splatoon category.
Yeah, it could. They won't be a lot of viewers and it won't ever be big, but it kind of has a little bit of a. It could sneak up and be like a Rocket League number 3 or 4. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I could see it like having its core following. I do think EA could come out the winner if Battlefield 6 is a monster hit, though, right? Even if that's your only title and that's all that you're banking on, if their multiplayer is fun and visually appealing and modern age, finally, as we're all thinking we're going back to, right? I think it's going to be a modern warfare style game. It's not going to be 1940s or even earlier 1910s. Like, we're not going back that far. I think they have the potential to be the real winner, including their BR, because people are itching for the next BR. That's just how that world works. You have a game for a year or two, and then who takes over that void, right? You saw that swap happen from PUBG to Fortnite, from Fortnite to Call of Duty. We're getting close to that time. So I think if Ubi makes an appealing BR and a fun multiplayer game, they could have record number sales, in terms of, like I said, I think people are just itching for that next thing. So
Yep.
they do a good job. I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about EA being
Yeah.
the winner of the event with one title that really truly does it for them.
I I will say that even if they do all that, I will still be disappointed if EA is the winner because that means Nintendo. My top three conferences right now that I'm most looking forward to is Nintendo probably third for all the reasons we talked about because I don't really know what they're gonna do. Uh, Second is the Summer Game Showcase on Thursday because Elden Ring is already like everything but confirmed to be there. There's a game called Lost in Random that's like a Tim Burton looking game. I'm really and it's like in a town that's like themed around like a gambling, so that look feels really cool. And there's a lot of other potential games that could be announced there that could blow the roof off everything. And then I really think Xbox they have to win this one. Like Halo has to look good. Starfield or whatever Bethesda has to show up and show their stuff. I'd like to see something about xCloud where I don't have to download all these games to my PC and I can just stream them, especially the ones that I'm like, I don't really want to download that one, but it looks interesting. Like I'd like Game Pass to finally be at that point. They said they were going to do that. And then I would really like to see like Avowed, which is like that Skyrim lookalike from the people that made the Outer Worlds, or Hellblade 2, or games that have been announced 2 years ago that or more that I'm like, I really want to see. And Ubisoft, I will say this. I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. Ubisoft would blow me away if I saw more Beyond Good and Evil 2 because that trailer is my favorite trailer ever shown at E3. Is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in animation.
Yeah, I think a lot of the studios and developers are kind of like how you were saying, like they announced, and it's not like they knew, right? But with COVID, it's like they announced and teased so many things now 2 years ago. And some of them have kind of held off, or there wasn't much last year. So it's like there's a lot of news people are like waiting and anticipating.
Expectations are really high for sure.
Yeah.
And I think like you might have a little bit of leeway because of COVID, but at the same time, it's like, you know, it's been a while.
Hey, you're coming to be here to present a game, right? If your game is not ready to be shown or in a bad state, don't sign up for the event, right? But if you're
Yep.
here, you're talking about games like you said that you really announced like 2 years ago, and so we're kind of at like a launch time. This is
Yeah.
not. I don't want to see a bunch of, oh, this is coming out in late 2022 or early 2023. Like you start hearing that, and that gets a little depressing. I think the
Yeah.
gaming industry as a whole just needs, like, it really needs this to be good, right? Like it'd be nice if we're all kind of kumbaya and everybody is happy coming out of here. But there's going to be winners and losers. We'll talk about that once all these events kind of wrap up, except for probably EA. I'm sure we'll come back and talk about this after the core grouping of events happens.
Yeah.
But either way, dude, I'm excited. Like I am. I know we talk about the negatives also, and we're supposed to do that, but I'm still excited. I'm excited to wake up and turn these streams on and have them on and just consume content. Like, and hopefully they do us right and treat us well.
Well, Nerd, I appreciate you coming on the show, giving us your thoughts on E3. I feel more educated. A lot of games that you mentioned that I either forgot or haven't even heard of. It's really impressive how much I've fallen off. I'm still a gamer, but just a PC.
Bad gamer.
I'm a PC try hard esports gamer. So I don't pay attention as much to the single player stuff. So always excited for E3. Thank you again for coming on the show. For our listeners, if they want to follow you on Twitter, at @unfilterednerd, and your YouTube, same thing.
Yeah, but you tell your partner you don't get the thing. So like,
Okay.
Yeah, just Unfiltered Nerd on YouTube.
All right, easy enough. So everyone go check him out. We'll obviously have to touch base again at some point, maybe when E3's wrapped up or if something's going on. We can always have you back on, or always find you in Discord or whatnot.
Maybe
there.
fill in for Tim if this nasally voice stays there forever.
I might die. I have had this cough now for weeks. I might die. I don't know. But there's always a chance, I guess. You never know. But anyways, dude, yeah, definitely appreciate you coming on and talking to E3 with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Dude, it was a lot of fun. We really appreciate it.
Yep.
Take it easy. All right, and let me call Anuj to get him back in our call. Live calling of Anuj. Possibly. Okay. I bailed out.
I was just giving him a normal goodbye. We're like, wait a minute, was Tim supposed to leave? I was like,
Around hand job. No, you're good. You're good. I just had to
I
leave.
didn't know either. So
I had to leave so I could
yeah,
get
we
set
should.
up the stream for the 2-man cam. Anyways, so yeah, appreciate Unfiltered Nerd for coming on the show. I wanted to have him on because I knew he follows E3 news and gaming a lot
Yeah,
more.
he knows his stuff.
Right.
He knows his stuff for sure.
Like
so
our
that was
E3
good.
preview would have been Halo and Battlefield. And
You
that's
are
it.
right though. He did get me more amped up for E3 because I'm like, oh shit, there's like a lot more stuff that could be coming out. That's like whether I play it or not, I enjoy the show. You know, I'm like, okay, these are
The
like things I could be
spectacle.
excited to just see.
Yeah, no, look, E3, and like you said, we're negative because a talk show would be very boring if we were positive. Let's be real. But I am always excited for E3. It will always be like this weekend will be a full on Twitter open 24/7 looking at the news and the trailers and everything. So I'm looking forward to it. Actually, ideally, if on the 9th EA wanted to announce like early access beta for Battlefield 6, that would be ideal.
That would be I would be able to forgive them at that point.
Because someone will do that. There's always some early access open beta to sign up for after this thing. So always have time to do that. So anyways, appreciate again to Unfiltered Nerd for coming on the show, talking E3. Anuj, let's get in to some Yikes of the Week, as we normally do that at the start of the show, but with a guest on, we pushed it to the back. Would you like to start with yours?
Yeah, I'm gonna change mine here. I put
Okay.
it on the bottom, so I'm gonna go with that instead.
Okay.
I like that better.
Go for it.
All right, so this is coming from the world of Rocket League, Tim. Recently, NRG coach has been banned from Rocket League matches going forward for calling the devs a lot of vulgar things on his stream, including effing pussies. I don't know if I should have blanked out both words there, but brainless monkeys, incompetent. I mean, really hit them with a lot of, for a coach or a player, things you probably don't want to say about developers, like calling them out, asking them, I hope they're watching this, your game sucks, how do we deal with lag in 2021?
Like, was he just tilted? Like, did he have a bad moment?
He was having a bad game. So yeah, I should have
Okay.
probably teased or prefaced it with that. He was having a bad game. He was experiencing lag on his stream, could see the lag. He was playing with another coach and then like a former pro. So chances are they were still whooping whoever's ass they were playing, right? Like if they're playing in just matchmaking, you're playing with a former pro, another coach, you're a coach, you're probably still like winning, but he hated his experience. So he really put his team in a tough spot. Like for whatever you think the coach is worth, there's obviously a ton of value there because we've seen that trend across all of esports now.
That's a
And so, yeah, they're
championship winning
losing
team
their,
too. Like
what's that?
NRG, they've recently won a championship.
Yeah, they have and then they're in like another tournament right now where I think they have a semifinals coming up.
So is he
They're,
banned definitely?
mid-event, like he's like, and then he's like banned for his comments. What I don't see is if there is like a timeline on this ban. As of right now, he's just banned.
Has he commented on it?
See, now we're getting deep.
Okay.
I found this story before the show, and I liked it better.
No, I'm all for headline news. That look, it's an age-old saying, but it's true. You don't bite the hand that feeds you. Like, say what you want, and if you're having a bad game, you can do like the exasperated, like this game sucks, and I think that could slide, right? But when you start name calling the devs multiple times, I feel like they just have to kind of set a precedent and say, okay,
as a person in that esport, you let the fans take care of that for you.
Right. Yeah,
right?
they know.
Like, you don't see CSGO pros, like, they might say something they don't like about the game, but they're not going to go at the developers' throats and, like, just slam them. Because they know, guess what? My community will do that for me, right? Like, there's enough of us trolls out there to handle that. So, should have toned it down a little bit, or at least redirected his hate towards the game versus the developer?
My yikes comes from the land of Riot. So, dude, if you remember a couple weeks ago during the VCT finals in Iceland, they teased the Duality player card, right? Say, hey, go to this website, redeem whatever, playriot.com. Here's a special code. You'll get a special player card. Everyone lost their goddamn minds. They freaked out. You would have thought like Beanie Babies were making a comeback because people were freaking out so hard that it crashed the website for days on end. And even if you were lucky enough to get in, 90% of the time you put in the code, it would then spit back another error, which is what I got. So Riot, a couple days ago, tweeted out on this, finally, saying, we goofed. It's still broken. We don't know what to do. We're going to suspend it for now, and we're gonna round back later to figure out a solution here and to let you guys put this in. This is also on top of, because this is also kind of branching off of this. June is Pride Month. If you saw, they did a bunch of advertising. Riot has a bunch of things for all their games, especially Valorant, like different Pride player cards. So whether that be all of the other stuff, right? All the colors of the rainbow flag, you could get a card for. Trans, bi, gay, whatever. You can get a special player card for that. And some titles here and there. A total of 9 codes, Anuj. You have to go into this website 9 different times and put in 9 different codes to get all of the Pride player flags. Like, in the event that maybe you wanted to support them, but, like, not the trans one. Like, I would like to put in this code. I really support the gays, but the trans not so much, so I won't put in their code.
I do like the individual codes, though, for that, because I think that each group has a way to, like, display. I mean, maybe it would have been nice if they had one code and then it unlocked all 9.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
The 9 codes part of this
9
is
separate
like,
codes for a website.
Can I tell you something? I was able to redeem all 9 of those and not the duality card.
I'm in the same boat. I got all. I'm going to be pried out of my eyeballs the next time I open up Valorant.
Yeah, I was able to get all 9 Pride cards, which I was shocked that it kept allowing me to, like, redeem. I was like, oh, great. I would try a Pride card and be like, oh, okay, let me get the duality one because that worked. Nope, error on that. Okay, then did another Pride card. Let me try the duality one. Nope. I was like, why do I have 9 different codes? You couldn't have given me one code, unlock them all, and then let me just choose the one I want to support or whatever, you know?
I know, and Riot even said, like, hey, if you're having issues with the Pride codes, don't worry about it. You have all month for the website to work. My thing here is they're saying, like, hey, we got to figure out a way to make this work. Riot, it's just a player code. I don't know if you get money for more people driving traffic to this particular website to enter in a code. I have no idea what's in it for you at the back end. But here's a crazy idea. If it is a code that already like 1 million plus people are trying to enter, maybe, just maybe, you just put it in everyone's inventory to begin with.
How hard is that? I mean,
it's not rocket science.
I tweeted this out because I was just so upset, like saying, not upset that I wasn't getting the card, just upset at how dumb the thought process was behind this of like, just give it to everybody. It's a player card. Like nobody cares that much.
And
I mean,
in inventory,
people are doing it because now it's just game traction, you know, and it's like, okay, now I just want this damn card because I've tried 3 times.
And it's not like it's like a exclusive item that you can later sell for money and that's why they're doing. No, you can't do anything with these cards other than display one at a time in your profile. So just give it to everyone. Like, it's not that cool of a card to begin with. I'm just doing it because it's free. Yeah, but at the same 100%. Time, Riot, the fact that Riot is even like stressing out about this, it's like, guys, you have a lot going on your plate. Just make it free. Just give it to everyone. Like, let's not waste time on this.
It's not a big deal, guys. We'll be okay if you just throw it in there. Like, everyone's gonna have it. I just don't get it. Everyone's gonna have it anyway, assuming your site starts working. So
It's a head scratcher.
By the way, what
for
the hell
sure.
is duality?
Yeah, right. Like let's solve that first. Let's tell us what this is. Let's focus on what it is before we focus on the
Like,
card.
what if it's is this like an anti-gay pride thing? Like, I would like to know that. Like, I would like to know,
Before I
is that
start
what
repping
like,
it. Like we need to be all inclusive here. All right, let's get into some e-news. E-news is brought to you by Philly Esports. Check it out, phillyesports.net. They host monthly online events. Speaking of Rocket League, if you're the NRG coach, unfortunately, you cannot sign up for June's event because on June 12th, coming up this weekend, 2v2 free to enter Rocket League tournament, $500 prize pool sponsored by the U.S. Army and Albany Eagles. Also, they also have, I think it's on their website. We're going to get more information for next episode, though, and probably talk about it a little bit. But Philly Esports is doing a big event partnered with the U.S. Army as well, scattered across a number of games. So check that out, phillyesports.net. Sign up for the Rocket League one in June. We'll have more information for the Army event coming up as well. All right, e-news. Real quick, let's run through this. Furia benches Junior and calls up Honda.
That was quick. It wasn't working out, so I don't know if it was a communication barrier or what, but this probably makes the most sense. Like, go back to what was working.
A little update for the Counter-Strike side. Unranked matchmaking is finally here. It took 20 plus years.
Like, okay, let me be a Debbie Downer here. I feel like they gave us something that was the least asked for out of the core things that we wanted. We wanted more maps. We wanted 128 tick. I wanted seasons, and then I wanted unranked MM. You know, like, I mean, it's good.
So-
It's not a bad update. So I don't want to knock them for giving us something that's good, but I like kind of wanted a little bit more.
Not
and
that
maybe that's
anyone, I think, who takes Counter-Strike serious gives a shit about ranked MM anyways. Like, I treated MM as unranked anyways. Because
yeah, like, I'm just trying to figure out what the big deal is around unranked.
I'll
MM
tell you
now.
what the
It's
only
like,
big deal for us is it is skill based, but there is no rank gap restriction.
so you can play with any of your friends
So
at
we
any
can
rank
actually
or
play
unranked
with
or whatever.
exactly whether you're unranked, silver 1, global, doesn't matter. You can play with them. So that is actually huge for Counter-Strike because for the longest time, I mean, hell, we had friends that literally we could never play with because they were so low at one point in time. So
It might be the new place to go play MM because maybe there's no cheaters in unranked.
right, like why would a cheater be an unranked? Speaking of non-prime account update, so if for any of you non-prime accounts, non-prime status accounts will no longer earn experience or rank, or even item drops.
Huge.
Yep, can't earn prime status through playtime. Non-prime accounts will also be unable to participate in ranked matches at all. So if you don't have a prime account, you're really just playing for the love of the game at this point, I guess. IEM Summer reaches the playoff stage, but we'll talk more about that next episode when we have some more time. Akuma jumped 118 spots. Friendly reminder, they are being investigated, or at least called of action for cheating. But for now, I guess we could give credit where credit is due. They jumped 118 spots, and is
That's
now
impressive.
not a bad jump. Now ranked 20 in the world. NIP cracked the top 10, and Astralis falls 2 spots to 5th. And we'll see how long they remain in the top 5. That's probably a good discussion for, because NIP definitely looks like on the rise. For a hot minute, I was like, maybe Device wasn't that good. Like maybe he wasn't the because you know but no, it took them all but maybe a match to get used to it.
Figure it out.
Yeah, so they're looking good. Astralis is looking rough. In Overwatch news, for the June joust, the teams going to Hawaii have been decided. Dallas Fuel is going there yet again. Dallas plays Shanghai, and New York versus Atlanta. That starts Thursday. In Valorant news, Anuj, I know you're really upset about this because you're a big fan of him, but Sinatra has been officially taken off the Sentinel's website.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, that's anticipated,
I mean,
right?
look,
Like,
you pay 1.2 million, whatever it was, for a guy. You need to take Sinatra off.
he's gonna be. They're gonna be okay.
It's official. It's done.
Yeah,
It's done.
it is done.
Little leak here for an economy update, though, and this I'd have to assume more to it because some of these numbers don't make any sense. So I assume some abilities might be getting reworked as well. But on the list here that we saw on Twitter, some big things here. The Stinger is dropping from 1100 to 950. I actually think that's huge. So I don't know if this is getting paired with any actual nerfs or buffs from guns. I wouldn't think so. I think that this economy change is their way of almost balancing out where the gun should be.
Yeah, like the judge getting more expensive, right? Like that probably needed to happen.
The judge
Rather
went from
than
1600
nerfing
to
the gun into the
1850.
ground and making it useless. Now it's going to be more of an economy effect of like, okay, if I get this judge, I might not be able to do like a full buy next round or whatever the case may be.
Right. Or it's like, okay, maybe I can't get all of my abilities if I get the judge this time. So maybe I get one smoke or, whatever. So that's huge. Operator is actually less money, $300 or whatever, credit, whatever you want to call it. A lot of people are upset about that. Look,
I kind of like that change, to be honest with you. I felt
the-
like it shattered your economy before.
and to me, on a pro level, from a spectator's point of view, the quicker you can get an operator in one of these pros' hands, the better.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. The matches instantly become more exciting when you have operators out on the field. So lower the price, get it out there faster, let them have more fun with it, let it be a little less punishing, and you're good. You're good. In other FPS news, Cloud9 defeats Flyers in the Halo 5 30K Sentinel Send-Off Tournament. Flyers actually making the Cinderella run. They upset Envy in the losers finals, but you wouldn't know because Team Envy's Twitter account didn't tweet jack shit about this entire event all day. So I don't know if that's more of an indication on who runs Envy's Twitter or where Halo is at, but if your team that you're paying money for is in the winners final and then the losers final of an event, you probably at least want to tweet out a link or something.
Or even a nice little good luck
Yeah,
message
just a
or
little-
something to the boys.
Like just a little ruffle their hair and smack them on the butt. Say, hey, get at them. Something. Like if I played for Envy right now on Halo, I'd be like, what the hell?
Did C9 tweet about
Oh,
that guy?
Tweet9 was blowing up their Twitter. You know, C9. they don't treat their players like that. Envy's Twitter, on the other hand, I guess a little lackluster on their Halo fandom. But hey, here's another video of chicks throwing axes. So there's that. All I'm saying is respect Halo because it will be number one. After the 12th, when Microsoft does their thing for E3, people are going to be like, oh my God. No one will tweet about anything else other than Halo.
That's it.
It's just everything will be Halo.
All E3 recaps will only be Halo.
So just get used to it, Envy Twitter person. Get used to it. Respect it. Respect the chief. In other news, TSM signs naming rights deal with cryptocurrency FTX. This is a 10-year deal, $210 million. Good
kind
Lord.
of insane. Like you're talking traditional sport, like naming rights kind of numbers. Like that's a monster deal. And congrats to them because that is going to help fund that group for a long time. So
10 million.
yeah, I mean,
or 210 million. Very big. 10 to me too. Like that's a lot of money. 10 years is almost even more mind-blowing to me. Like that's a
yeah,
long
with
partnership.
that kind of money, that also makes sense, right? Like that's
Yeah, I'll just say like in esports terms, like 10 years. Like this is
Yeah,
gonna be.
I
They're gonna
mean-
be TSM FTX till I'm 40. Good
unless
Lord.
you're in a Riot League.
Good Lord. Unless you're in a Riot League. This is also the more astonishing thing. And apparently this was known when the deal was made. But Riot has announced that they will not allow the branding to be involved with any of their games. Whether that's on jerseys or in commentating or anything like that. So, you know, Riot, they host a few big games. League of Legends, Valorant, all of it. So,
Like the main games that TSM is in? Because they're not in Counter-Strike.
no, but maybe with that money they can get into Counter-Strike. But I don't know why you would at this
I
point.
still don't know if that's enough money to afford a team.
Don't know. Nah, you could get an NA team. Maybe not an EU team.
Maybe.
Hire Henry G. He'll make a team for you with that money. Henry G can find you a squad with 210 mil. So yeah, that's odd. Odd that you're going to spend 210 million, but you can't be represented in the two biggest entities of the org. But hey, I'm sure they did their research before signing the contract. And Anuj, I did not watch the Jake Paul Mayweather fight, if that surprises you. I have seen things on social media that suggest that I didn't miss much.
No, I did illegally stream it. Thank you, Twitch. Thank you for all you heroes out there that give me 5 minutes before I need to go find a new stream to relocate to. But I did watch it on there. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of lackluster for sure. I'm sure these guys are walking out with a pretty penny. Like the numbers that I've heard, dude, is they're making like 25 to 50 million.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Like on this fight. But I mean, obviously no winner or loser in the sense of judges, but clear winner Mayweather. Like he just obviously did not take a punch for the most part and gave him a couple of good shots. At the same time, dude, like Logan Paul could take a hit. This dude showed me something on his own. Like he got rocked a handful of times, and I thought he was done. And yeah, he stayed up and
was it Logan or Jake?
It was Logan Paul.
Logan Paul. Okay.
Yeah. I think I wrote Jake on there. It was Logan Paul.
They're all the same.
His brother actually is fighting an MMA fighter coming up, and I think he will get knocked out. So
because it's a real fight. That's like a real.
Yeah, I mean Mayweather obviously held back, was very reserved.
I did see the difference in punches. Like, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, like Mayweather obviously is a defensive fighter anyway, so like that it is what it is. But he was overly cautious to make this fight go the distance, whether that generates more revenue or what. You could just tell he wasn't there to really knock him out. But he landed a couple of good shots on him. So it is crazy. This shit's just crazy how much money these guys are making with this YouTube now there's a YouTube TikToker boxing event coming up. Like these guys are making millions off of these boxing events. So
I am not denying the fact that these guys can fight, right? Like they're millionaire kids with nothing better to do but then to pay someone to train. And if you were like, hey Tim, we're gonna put you in a boxing match, you're gonna make $10 million. Could you train and get ready for it? I would. Every single day I would be in that gym, right? Like, so yeah. It's not unheard of. Like, if there's one thing out there, I think if you gave me the time and energy, boxing is something I could probably pick up tomorrow. Like, it's not like it's rocket science on how to punch someone or take a hit if you had training, right? So I'm not denying this. But at what point are we going to get like real fights that aren't completely scripted? Like if I was a true boxing fan, this has to just kill you on the inside.
No, because real boxing is bullshit with the whole judging system, right? Like so many fights, even though they might not be rigged from the players' standpoint, is rigged from the results side. So boxing fans are used to being totally effed. So this is nothing new. This is just one step further.
From a boxing fan point of view, I would like for them to point me in a direction of like, hey, you want to see real boxing? You want to see like a real fight that, we feel isn't rigged? That's what I want to see.
Yeah. I mean, boxing's dying in general, though. At least this is putting attention on the sport. Good or bad, I don't know, but at least it's drawing eyes to a sport that...
if it brings in a new EA Fight Night or boxing video game, then it was all worth it in the end.
There you go.
That's really all I want.
That's how we tie it back to
That's all I want is a new boxing video game. That's it. Maybe at E3, which is this weekend. So hopefully you enjoyed the preview. Thank you again to Unfiltered Nerd for hopping on the show to give us his thoughts and everything there. Again, check him out at Unfilter Nerd on Twitter. Tell him you heard about it from TCR. That is the name of this podcast, The Center Ring, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast presented by Alt. We will be back, I guess, Wednesday in 2 days because we're late on this show because of family stuff, which is nothing bad. I always hate it when people are like, oh yeah, I had family things I had to take care of. Always sounds more like, oh wow, you had family stuff. I hope everything's okay. Yeah, no, my kid was just like shitting and I was the only one home to help out. That's really what that means nowadays.
That's what it is.
Like, I just need, in case my kid decides to try to jump off the couch, I need to be there. So I have to sometimes play around that. But anyways, we'll be back Wednesday, talk some IEM Summer, talk some CSGO, whatever comes up between now and then. Follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring. Join our Discord. The link is in the description there. But until then, for Nuge, I'm Tim. We'll see ya. Boom. All right. Good show. Everyone in chat. Good show.
That was fun. I was like talking to E3.
Yeah, we don't get to. Like I said, there's always at least one thing, right? I don't know what's going to be that one thing this year, but there's always at least one thing that you're always like, whoa, okay, that's big, right? My big thing that I'm hoping for, like I said, is just honestly all I care is about Battlefield. That's it. I know they have Battlefield 1 is on sale right now on Steam for like $10, and I'm really tempted to pick it up just to play it on this monitor.
Which one?
Battlefield 1.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think that's probably the one with the highest player base, right? That's the newest one.
I thought Battlefield. Yeah. I don't even know anymore. Yeah, I think it is.
Like, did Battlefield 5, Battlefield. Yeah. Maybe it's a 2042. Would you be upset if it was 2042? Like future?
No. I just don't want old. I want some like badass attachments, badass guns. I don't care how they do it, just make it modern. I want jets, like proper fighter jets again, and tanks and like cars, like badass vehicles. Like I like all that. I want the big crazy gameplay.
Yeah. Like I said, for Battlefield, right? Like that's what I want.
Yeah, I just want it to be destructive, and I want it to be an all-out war.
I always love in Battlefield 2, which is like when I played like with a full crew of dudes, right?
Battlefield 2 is badass.
Yeah. Like I was me and my buddy were like the two, like we had like designated roles, right? And so like I was a pilot and I had the joystick and everything. Dude, I practiced. I could like in the damn map with like the big hole in it, right? I could fly a jet and a helicopter through it and do like a backflip back through. Like we would do like stunt courses on helicopters and shit. And
Ronnie was our pilot. I was always terrible at flying.
Oh, I was so good at it. And I remember it'd be like nothing was more badass than like when you would fill like a I guess is it a Black Hawk chopper?
Oh yeah, you'd fill up one of the carriers or whatever.
The carrier choppers, and then you just fucking drop your boys in, and then you dip out to get more people at spawn. Oh, that's what I want. That's what I want. I don't need a horse. I don't need to ride a horse.
Bro, those last two games were just so boring.
I mean, Battlefield 1 was okay, but Again,
very much okay though. That's like what it was. It wasn't like
from a
I would
large
never.
scale. I never got like the large scale, right? Like even Battlefield, what was the last modern one? 4? And you're playing, and then all of a sudden the map is shaking. You're like, what the hell's going on? And you look up, an entire building is falling. You're like, holy shit. That's what I want.
Yeah, like they had the cool event, like the one where the boat crashed into the shore and
Yeah.
like the waves became really turbulent and stuff. That was like a really fun map.
I want.
It was like a big circle basically of islands
Yeah.
that all kind of are right next to each other, and then like a big ship crashes in, and then the waves get huge.
Wasn't
I was
there a
like,
shark
this is
too?
badass. Yeah, there's a shark also.
Like if you went
There
too
was
far,
even a Easter egg shark on that map.
right?
that
Like if
was
you went
like-
too far out, it was like a giant shark
Yeah.
would. That's what I want. And again, that's why it's like I have Battlefield 4, so I'm tempted just to download that and just play that for the sake of playing a style of game that I'd want. But I don't know. I might just get
Shall
the EA
see
pass
what
and
they
play them all.
do.
So fuck it. I could just play the EA pass and play them all. Oh man.
Cheap or
Do you like Bo Burnham?
I haven't watched it. I mean, I've heard that it was good. I just haven't watched it.
That Inside one? It's really good. Morgan didn't like it, but I think it was my fault because I sold it as like a comedy. I was like, oh, he's like a stand-up comedian, but she's never watched his stuff before.
I think a little bit more serious than that.
Well, it's just like the way he uses it, like it's all very real, right?
Yeah.
Like it kind of like his songs and stuff kind of makes you kind of think like about yourself and your own perspective of things. And I think she was looking for more like a Bill Burr type of funny. Not like oh, this is kind of depressing. I was like, yeah. Might have been
I've heard good things about it though.
definitely, yeah. No, it's really good. All right, I'm going to shut down the stream. Anyone who's in the chat, love you.
God bless, guys. See y'all soon.
Papa bless. Bye-bye.